Okay, so at the start of the season, I made some predictions for the championship this season. Thanks for all your support on this, by the way. Yeah, I don't like doing prediction videos, but some people on Twitter are asking me to do it back in. They were like, you should come back and do a prediction video. So I did it, and the championship is the hardest league to predict. I'll always say that. It is a ridiculous league. I didn't do as badly as the comments would suggest, but I didn't do very well either. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, 24th, bottom of the table, I had Rotherham United. I figured they'd be one of the teams that would go down, and actually, Ipswich Town were the team that were at the bottom of the table. I did not think Ipswich would be that far down. I predicted them very mid-table, lower end mid-table, but I thought they'd do a lot better than coming last in the league. However, they've not had a great season at all, really, and they are now a League One side. But Rotherham's prediction wasn't far off, as we will see in a second. Number 23, I had Wigan Athletic. I thought that Wigan were going to go straight back down. I didn't think they'd done enough business. They haven't had an amazing season, but for a first season back up, they've had a pretty alright season by their standards currently, and to be fair, they're a team I haven't really watched, so I can't really comment on it. I'm sure their fans will have something to say on it. I don't know how well they think they've performed this season, but they're up. They've stayed up. You know, that's decent. They haven't gone straight back down. They're in the Championship for another season, with Bolton actually getting relegated. Now, I had a couple of comments thinking that I was crazy for putting Bolton as low as I'd actually put Bolton. They did worse than I thought they were going to do. They are relegated. They are one of the teams that are going straight down. 22, I had Blackburn Rovers. Obviously, that is not where they finished. They had a very average season as well. Nothing really to write home about, a mid-table finish. You see, this is where I start to think that my predictions weren't that bad, because in 20th, I had Birmingham City, and Birmingham actually finished quite close to this, so I wasn't too far off. To say the amount of hate I got in the comments, I'm not doing too bad so far at getting the sort of positionings. I'm off by about 2 or 3, so I'm not doing too bad so far. 19th is my first correct prediction. QPR, I thought they'd finish 19th, and they did finish 19th. It has not been a great season for them at all. I mean, they've just beat us on the last day of the season. However, we weren't really getting into first gear. So I don't think the QPR fans will be very happy at all with this season, and hoping for something better next season. 18, I had Swansea City. I thought they were going to be this season's Sunderland. I definitely didn't think they'd be going straight back up, but I actually predicted them to have a bit of a wobble when they came down. That actually happened to be one of the other Premiership teams that we will get to later on. But Swansea came down and they actually finished alright. They didn't go back up, but they did a solid top 10 finish. So for your first season back up when you're trying to stabilise, I don't think that's too bad. Obviously, their fans would have been wanting to go straight back up, but that's not always the way it works. Oh, I thought I should mention, I'm not wearing the same shirt as in the actual video. This one is from Budapest, so different cities. Number 17, I had Hull City. I didn't think they were going to have a great season this season. They've had a slightly better season than that. They've had a very sort of average season by their standards, and they could have done a lot better. 16, I had Preston, so I wasn't too far off where they actually finished. Preston fans in the comments were all over it, going, yo, we're going to be in the playoffs, we're going to be amazing. I didn't predict it for this season. I just didn't think they had what it took to do as well as they did last season, and it did show this season. Never know, though. I've got nothing against Preston, really. Next season, they might find something in them to kick on a little bit more. 15th is where I put Ipswich, and obviously this is where Blackburn actually finished, with Ipswich coming bottom of the table. They had a disastrous season, really. So I can't really say much more on that. I thought they'd be lower mid-table. Sort of 15th was a solid prediction, what I thought, obviously. But they haven't done very well at all this season. In 14th, I've got Millwall. I thought they'd have a mid-table season as well, but they have just, by the skin of their teeth, stayed in the Championship, clinching that 21st spot. So it's not been a great season for Millwall, but they have managed to stay up. In 13th, I had Reading. I thought Reading were going to be alright this season. They've been a pretty solid side in the Championship, nothing to write home about, but they've been pretty solid all the way through, but they have not had a good season this season at all, and they finished much lower in 20th, so it was getting quite tight there at the end. Number 12, I had Sheffield United.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
I'm just gonna go and fill this up with a pint of bitter. Moving on! This one I got right at least. 11th. I thought Brentford would be in 11th. Brentford fans thought they did really well this season. They've been like, oh, we've been a dominant force in the Championship, and don't get me wrong, I've seen them gradually improve. But this season, they didn't match that. They have finished in 11th, which is what I thought they'd do. I thought they'd be strong, but I didn't think they would breach that top 10, and they did just miss out on it in 11th. In 10th, I had Bristol City. I thought Bristol City were going to be another strong side, a top 10 side. They actually did better than this, finishing 8th in the season, and they've actually surprised me a little bit. I was very close, but they've done even better, and it is nice to see one of our former right-backs doing quite well as well. Bristol City have been a good side this season and did deserve to finish in 8th. In 9th, I had Norwich City. I thought they'd be a top 10 side. I wasn't expecting them to be champions. Credit where credit's due for Norwich. They've been an absolutely amazing side this season. They've played some great football. I wish they hadn't scored that free kick, ending our playoff hopes when they did. But they have played some brilliant football this season, and they are deserved champions. No sour grapes in that at all. Well done, Norwich. Number 8, I had Aston Villa. Yet again, I thought they'd be a strong side. Didn't realise how strong they were actually going to be. I will take the Wednesday bias out of it because their last match with us was ridiculous. Shouldn't have gone down the way it did, but over the course of the season, Aston Villa have been a good side. They made the right signings and they've played the right kind of football to get them in the playoffs. Who knows what's going to happen in the playoffs, because obviously this video has been filmed beforehand, but they are one of the favourites for it. They have deserved to be one of the teams up in those playoffs. They have played very well. And yeah, I could see them going all the way, to be fair. They've got a strong side. Number 7, I had Derby County. 1 point. 1 point made this prediction wrong. They managed to finish in the playoff spots in 6th. Frank Lampard getting him into the playoffs in his first season in charge. I thought they'd just miss out. They didn't miss out, and they have got a chance of going up now, so well done to Derby. Number 6, I had Sheffield Wednesday. There is one man to blame for this, and it's this man. We've now looked like a much different team under Steve Bruce. Yes, there was possibly some Wednesday bias in here. I didn't realise we were going to get hit with financial fair play talks and things like that. I didn't think our season pros were going to get cast out in the cold when I made that video. I thought that we'd have Westwood in it. I didn't think Dawson would get thrown in. I didn't realise that they were going to freeze out players like Hutchinson. I didn't realise Gary Hooper was going to be out for the season. We'd be without Kieran Lee. I didn't realise Forestieri was going to be out for quite a lot of the season as well, and only just come back partway through it. We have literally been a team that's relied on Barry Bannon this season and Adam Reach's screamers. Now Westwood's come back into the side. We've got a solid defence. Hopefully we sign Hector next season, because 6th was doable. That's why I said it. Yes, obviously we're always going to be a little bit more biased towards our own clubs, but I was trying to be objective there. I thought if we are firing on all cylinders, and if we'd been under a manager like Bruce is showing now, our form at the end of the season when we had something to play for was quality under Bruce, and we've had the team to do it. It was just awful management, which meant we obviously finished in a much worse position than I thought we were going to. In 5th, I had Leeds United, so I got it right in the fact that they're in a playoff spot, but actually they were one of the teams that were challenging for the top 2 until they bottled it a little bit at the end there, and Sheffield United obviously took that second automatic promotion spot. They've still got a chance in the Championship playoffs. Finishing 3rd will have been hard on them, and I don't know how they're going to carry that going into the playoffs, especially with, I think they lost to Ipswich. I think their last match was a loss to Ipswich. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I was actually looking at all the scores, and I think that's one I saw. But yeah, I had them finishing 5th. They were challenging for top 2 and just missed out, finishing 3rd. Who knows what's actually going to happen in the playoffs. In 4th, I got another correct prediction. I predicted West Brom to finish 4th, and they have. Their fan base doesn't seem too confident, though. They don't seem too happy. They seem like they don't believe that they're going to go up in the playoffs. That's the vibe I've been getting from a lot of their fan base. But you never know. The playoffs is a lottery. You've got a 1 in 4 chance of getting through them. So they're in a solid position to do it, and they did finish in 4th like I predicted. Okay, now these top 3 are a bit shocking, and I'm sorry, okay? In 3rd, I had Nottingham Forest. I thought they were going to have a much better season than they did. I don't know what possessed me, but at the start of the season, they looked decent. Sorry, I mean before the season started, they looked decent. On paper, they looked like they should have done a lot better than they did. Obviously, in the end, they finished in 9th. So they still had a solid top 10 finish, but predicting them 3rd was probably a little bit generous on my part. In 2nd, I had Middlesbrough. I thought with their manager and their squad, they were too strong to not challenge for promotion. They have been challenging, but they finished in 7th, so they didn't actually even manage to get in the playoffs in the end when I thought they were going to be one of the automatic teams. So that was a little bit of a shock to me originally, but given the course of the season, the way the championship's gone this season, it's not actually that surprising. Okay, and number 1, I dropped the ball. I thought Stoke, on paper, were too good for this league. I thought they'd signed players that could do it in the championship. Their signings were championship signings, promotion-winning championship signings, and they're awful. They've not done well at all. They've actually been the Sunderland that I thought Swansea were going to be, and they finished in 16th. I thought they were going to win the league. I don't think I'm the only person who did a predictions video who thought Stoke were going to win the league, but it's not great. It's not been a great season for them at all. Now, I got a lot of banter. I got a lot of stick for these promotions, which is what you do when you do a football-related video. I lapped it up. I kind of bantered with a lot of you, and it was a laugh. But my predictions weren't as bad as some people were predicting, so I'm going to take that. I got 3 right, which in the championship I'll take. I got 1 of the relegations right, which is another win. And I did get sort of the strong contenders fairly right, just by a couple of positions. So, on the whole, they weren't the worst predictions in the world. But obviously, if I ever do a predictions video, there's going to be a team that's not happy with what I've said about, you know, their side. We all want our side to do well, and we want our side to be featured in videos of everybody thinking that they're going to do amazingly well. But I think I'm confident enough with how close some of my predictions were in this season to probably do another one for next season, just so you can all hate on me again and be like, oh my god, my team is destined for glory. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for watching. I'll be getting around to doing more football-related content very shortly. But for now, guys, obviously, as always, thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, do all those things, and keep watching right here on Dexterity Box.